I escaped from sexual slavery and ended up living on the streets. I was rescued by the man who today became my husband. How did you escape? I knew where my owner kept his cash. I took a lot of money one night. I don't remember how much I took, but it was just enough for me to cross the border, and that's when I started living on the streets in Austin. You are so brave for making it through such torture. I'm glad you managed to flee from captivity. Also, congratulations for your marriage. So my only question is, did the bad experiences from being a sex slave create friction for your current sex life? If yes, what difficulties are they? Genuinely curious. I've only had sex once since I escaped, and that was a few hours ago. It was enjoyable. I had a lot of anxiety prior though, but in the moment, no. I had a lot of trust in my husband, and he made me feel safe and respected. How did it start? I was sold by my parents to pay off debt. How old are you? I am 24 now. I was also a victim, although I have never told anyone IRL about it. How can you trust anyone after that? I feel like I will never be able to. It's hard, but I have a very good church family now, who have looked after me really well. It is hard to trust people after that though. Congrats. What was your wedding venue? We had a small wedding at our church. What was your first date like? Did you click immediately or did it take time? We clicked pretty well initially. We got to know each other well because I started going to his church. What kept you going through all that time? Did you ever think of suicide? I seriously considered suicide during my teenage years, where I was abused by my owner. Owner isn't the proper term, but it's the term I use. What did your now husband do to rescue you? He gave me food and a coat. He then called medical aid for me. Did you ever feel like you were going to die? How did you feel when you found your parents sold you? How did you feel when you knew you finally escaped? I didn't really understand it. I didn't think it was as nightmarish as I thought. I didn't start the sexual stuff until I was 16. I was very bitter when I understood what had happened. I only spoke broken English at the time and had no idea what I was doing. Do you have any plan to meet or at least communicate with your family in the future? I would like to, but I'm terrified of visiting or sending anything to Mexico. Hi, you are so brave. So, your parents sold you. How old are you now, and how old when you were sold, and how old were you when you escaped? Was this all in the USA? How did you meet your husband, and how did the rescue go down? What are your plans for the next few weeks? What kind of a future do you see for yourself? After you have had time to adjust to your new life, think about writing a book or doing speaking tours. You could inspire a lot of people by sharing your story. Congratulations. You go, girl. I was 12 when I was sold. I was 19 when I ran, and 24 now. The slavery happened in Mexico and I escaped to the US. He caught me searching throughout his trash for food. He gave me food and called an ambulance. We're going to Europe over Christmas and come back at the end of January. Well, we are moving to Washington State, where my husband will start a new management position with his company. I have thought about and have written a few pages of memoirs. What did you do after your now husband found you? Did you pick up new skills, courses? Did you go for any form of counseling? May you have an enjoyable time in Europe. So my husband's pastor has dealt with a lot of human trafficking situations in his day. He helped me get a working visa and a job. And he even helped me get a job. I lived with him and his family for 2 years and became a member of their church. To be honest, and this sounds silly, but the best thing I've had is Bible-based counseling with a women's pastor at a nearby church. Sorry if I make you uncomfortable, but how were your owner, like? Did it starve you? Did you ever go through a period where you were mentally broken? Did it scar you for life knowing your parents did such a thing? I was starved at certain times, especially later on when my owner or pimp thought I was putting on weight anywhere except my boobs or butt. It got real bad when I was 17. I almost ended it.